Can you talk us through your diagnosis and what went through your mind after you heard the words, "You've got a brain tumour"?
It was completely out of the blue. It was really surreal, to be honest. And leading up to it, I'd been a bit ill. I wasn't running as much. It felt like actually they were looking, they thought I had asthma. It was like a chest infection I'd been treated for. It wasn't that. I'd gone to a ENT specialist, so they were looking at like ear, nose. I'd had obviously certain bits and pieces leading up to it, and I was actually going to a consultant just to clarify. I thought it was going to be some tablets and I'll be on my way. So I'd been feeling rough for a few months, and then obviously when I got told it was some sort of actual lesion, they weren't told, they didn't say a brain tumor at the time. I didn't process it at first. I think it was the case of, is this happening? Is this real? And it only really started to process was when I started telling, like yourself, parents, family. And then actually it took weeks to really figure out what the next steps was, because they thought it was something called an ependymoma. That isn't certain until after the surgery.
How did Brains Trust and their services support you practically and emotionally?
Well, practically they were really helpful straight away. They actually have guidance for each type of tumour, and my instinct is I want to learn as much as possible to try and understand what's going on. Kind of emotionally and practically, it was that uncertainty of you really don't know what's going to happen next, and they have this fantastic idea of it's like a brain box, and I asked for one. I didn't really actually know what was going to be in it, and effectively send you all these different resources basically about what brain tumours are, but like notes, what radiotherapy is, what you should actually be looking out for from your team, because you end up having so many different people involved when you're having surgery or therapy afterwards, that when you're not of sound mind as well, because you might be struggling, it's so helpful to have those resources. And I actually found it was really good to pass on to you and also to my mum and dad, so they could actually understand what was going on in a digestible format that isn't just science jargon. And to be honest, it helped because I didn't have all the answers, and the brain box didn't, but it was really good materials as a jumping off point. So it was actually up to date, relevant. I thought it was fantastic. What impact did the support from Brains Trust have on myself and those around me?
I think their support was monumental, really, in your journey through from diagnosis right through to surgery and treatment after that. They did really support you, not just by supplying you with the resources, but I remember one of the representatives from the charity calling you up every few weeks just to see how you were doing. And that support from someone that you have no idea who they are, but they're so empathetic with what you're going through. And to know that there is someone looking out for you, and if they hadn't heard from you for a few weeks, they would follow up and see how you were getting on and see if there was anything else you needed. And I think that was so lovely, just to have that extra support from someone else. But the resources they provided you were brilliant. And remember, you had a sort of what to look out for, the different uniforms at the hospital, and sort of who was who and who you'd meet along the way. So you were never going into a situation completely unprepared. And that also helped, like me and your family as well. Is there a standout moment, service or conversation from your experience with Brains Trust that really helped you?
They have a service at Brains Trust where you can connect to someone who might have experienced or been through what you've been through. And so for me, early days, I really wanted to speak to someone who is quite young, who's been through a ependymoma, because it's quite rare. It actually affects children more. I really wanted to hear, because there's a lot of anxiety about what the operation would bring. What do I need radiotherapy? What's that like? And they were really good at connecting me with someone, and having that phone call with someone who had been through something similar to me was such a huge relief. But actually just to hear someone on the other side and know that they were going well, and the fact that Brain Trust did that led me to be on now being on this peer support network. I think it's a fantastic idea, and again, that wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for Brains Trust. As a carer, what support did Brains Trust offer you, and what was the impact of this support?
Brains Trust offered me a series of counselling sessions, which I found so incredibly helpful, just having someone to talk to. The therapist I was matched with has worked with other people that have been affected by brain tumours and other sort of traumatic diagnoses. So it was really nice to have someone to speak to who didn't necessarily understand what you were going through, but had a lot of empathy for it and could offer tools and advice, but also just give me that safe space to try and navigate what we were going through. Because there's so much worry during the time and so much uncertainty, and you had no idea what the next day or week was going to bring. So it was so great for me to have someone to speak to that was sort of a constant, and I'm so grateful for the therapy that I received that really guided me through it and helped me be as best of a support system for you as I could be.
So what piece of advice would you give to other people and their loved ones going through a similar experience right now?
I'd say reach out to Brains Trust and see what they can do. Just speak to someone and see what information they could give you. Ask to see if there is anyone in their peer support network. The conversations that you had both as a sort of mentor and a mentee through that system were brilliant, and I do feel like you almost made friendships and you bonded with a couple of people through that, and it was so nice to hear the positive stories from it, but also be able to talk to someone about your reality that understands and gets it. And I think just speak to people. I don't think there's any need to hide emotions, the realities of it. I think for me, definitely speaking about it helped me process it all, and I think it did for you as well.
Oh, 100%.
Finally, what does the support from Brains Trust mean to you?
It's made a time of my life that has been so difficult a lot easier or more manageable, and to manage and navigate that uncertainty, and there still is to a degree, but I feel I can still go to them, and that there's a place for me to help, for them to help me, but also for me to help them. So the fact that we've done fundraising for them before, for one of our half marathons that we did in Manchester last year, but also what we're doing hopefully today, and we'll carry on doing, because I want to repay them and really be an advocate for what a small charity they are, but how much impact they actually have. And last one, what does the support of Brains Trust mean to you?
I really don't think I'd have been able to make it through the whole process as optimistically and as strong as I did without the support that I had from Brains Trust, and I will be forever grateful for the support that you received and I received as well. And I will do everything I can to give back to the charity now.